Are you always putting the needs of others before your own? Today we're talking about how to love yourself on this episode of Coffee with Tea. Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, Tonia Tyler, and I'm excited because we're going to be talking about how to learn and love yourself. So, we're going to welcome our guest, Miss Kimberly Logan, to the show. Welcome, my dear.
Hello.
I I always love talking about topics that can then empower us and stuff like that. So, before we really dive down deep into this conversation, I want to welcome you to the show, first of all.
Thank
Welcome
you.
for sharing your story. And I'm going to turn the mic over to you and tell a little bit about who you are and maybe how you've been dealing with this whole pandemic as we reopen and everything like that. And then we can dive into the conversation. So please tell us who you are and how you're doing.
I'm Kimberly Logan. I am here in Cincinnati, Ohio. Natty. Um, I've lived here all my life, and the pandemic, pandemic. It's been it's actually, I'm trying to look at the silver lining of it. I know a lot of people have been impacted and, through death or sickness or what have you. My family was even impacted with COVID. However, I look at it also as a blessing, that as strange as that might sound. I look at it as a blessing because God showed who he was and showed who he is. Who else can actually put the entire planet on timeout? Go to your naughty seat and go sit down. And it's not just one situation where one, city, one state, one country. He literally put the entire planet on timeout and said, "Remember who I am." Um, and so during my timeout, I had to go through withdrawals because usually when spring hits, anybody that knows me knows Kim shuts down in the winter a little for the most part. I'm a homebody. I catch up on Netflix, catch up on a lot of stuff, reading or what have you. But then when spring hits, I go, bye bye, people, bye bye. And me and Delta Airlines have a wonderful love affair. So I usually have my trips planned for the entire year by the time January 1st hits. And I'm gone. I'm not one that does not use vacation time. I use my vacation time. And so I went through withdrawals, and I'm a big concert junkie as well. So I couldn't go to concerts, I couldn't travel, I couldn't go anywhere. And so God let me know. He says, well, instead of trying to find happiness, you need to find joy. So that was my focus for the past year, finding joy and rediscovering other things that make me happy and that brings me contentment.
Right, right. And I love how you talk about the difference between happiness and joy. And we can always dive down into that, but I always like to try to break it down for the listeners who don't different, don't understand what you're talking about. So can you please briefly tell us what the difference for you is between happiness and joy?
Happiness is circumstantial. So there are things that make you happy, there are things that make you sad. I can, if my happiness is dependent on me just, okay, well, I can't go on vacation, and I can't spend time with my family, and we're all on Zoom. I can't hang out with my friends. That can make you sad. That could really make you sad. Joy is something you have despite anything that's happening. So joy helps you to look beyond your current circumstance and gives you something to hold on to. For me, it's like a form of hope. So yeah, say for example, someone's pregnant. Some people are, oh, I'm pregnant and I'm having a baby and it's gonna be great. So you're happy you're pregnant, but your feet are swollen, your back is hurt, somebody's invading your body, they're tap dancing on your bladder. You can barely move. I have a niece that just gave birth to her second son, and she was so cute pregnant. But every time I told her you're so cute pregnant, she would just look at me like, yeah, say that. And so, but what gets her beyond that is knowing that Lord willing, I'll give birth to a new baby, which she had a new son. And so the joy you have is, I'm about to be another mom again. I'm about to have another blessing again. And so joy is looking beyond your current circumstances that may not be making you happy. So you have joy. It's something, it's like that tightrope, that rope that you hold on to kind of pull you through.
Right. Right. Thank you for explaining because, I don't want to assume everybody
Oh,
knows.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So, you and I have met, we've networked, and you give me some good juicy nuggets to think about. So that's why I said I think this was a time for us to have you on a show because, like I said, you shared a little bit of the journey. So before we really dive down to your juicy gems, which I hope you share, um, tell a little bit about your journey story to how you're at to, you know, finding love for yourself. How was your journey for you to
Oh,
discover it for yourself?
every decade has been something new. In your 20s, it's like, oh, I'm a fresh new adult, and you're learning what I like, what I don't like, and all those different standards and those different things that your parents instilled in you and that was instilled in you in church. That's your litmus test. I consider the 20s the litmus test and the testing ground for, okay, we keep that, we throw that out, that works, no, that don't work, well, grandmama was right on that one and mama was right on that one, so we'll keep all of that. Your 30s, you're kind of stretching out. But then by the end of my 30s and beginning of my 40s, the friendships that I had, the first few decades of my life, because I was changing and starting to redefine who I really am, some of those friendships got reprioritized because you need to surround yourself with people who are trying to go the same direction you're going. And some people might be going the same direction you're going, but they might be moving at a slower pace. Some people that you love dearly, they might be stuck, and there are some people who are stuck and you will try to help them, and you can help them and they let you help them. But then there are other people who are stuck and they're like, well, since I'm stuck and I don't really want to get out this quicksand hole, I want you to sit here with me. And it's like, well, I'm throwing you sticks, I'm throwing you ropes, I'm trying to help you get out the quicksand. And they're like, no, now I just got out and I'm not trying to get back in with you. So you have to make the decision. Although I love you, I love me more, and I need to keep going, or else we're going to die together. And I'm not on that. So so in my 40s, I started really rediscovering me and finding out what I really like. And so I started delving into crafting and make my own greeting cards. I do nature photography and all that good stuff. And a couple of my friends were like, "Well, let's go do this." I'm like, "I don't want to keep going to the restaurants and eating and talking about how unhappy we are. I'd rather go and try to find out what makes me happy." So I started traveling by myself and started doing things by myself. And they're like, "Who are you going with?" Me, myself, and I. So in my 30s, I started the tradition of going out of town every year on my birthday. In my 40s, I started the tradition of taking one solo trip a year. I'm not married, so usually I always end up traveling with my friends. But when you travel with people, you have to, especially if you're sharing a room, you have to negotiate, the temperature of the room and who's going to sleep in the direction of the air current, the curtains open or closed, which was a huge debate. Something so simple as having the curtains open or closed, you ready to choke somebody. I'm the person that likes to lay in bed and look at the moonlight, and I like the sun to pour in the morning. Oh, and bathe in it. Unfortunately, I have some friends and siblings who are vampires. They want the room pitch black, and I'm going, okay, you know what? I love you, but now I want my own room. I don't want to share a room with you. And a couple of people were like, what do you mean you don't want to share a room with me? No, I'm not sharing a room with you because I love you and I want you to continue to love me. And I don't want to wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and try to smother you. So, no, you have your own room. You can make it as black as you want. and I'm going to have my own room, and I'm going to have the curtains wide open. So when the sun pours in, I can bathe in it like a cat.
Right.
So everybody's happy.
You know what you're sharing. It sounds like you had a like when you as you get, you were going to go more continue the journey as you're going, but it sounds like as you were going along, you started to really dive down into who Kim is and
Yes.
how. Yeah. So I'm sounding like it's been a pivotal journey. I mean, so you know
Yes.
what your boundaries are, and that's
Yes.
really the foundation to learning to love yourself, right?
Yes, it is. You have to know what your boundaries are. Be mindful of who stresses you out and what stresses you out. And it's the who and the what on your job. And as a professionally, I'm a project manager by trade. So I've been in project management and program management. I've been a director. You're dealing with people, and if you're dealing with projects, every project has this issue, it has this problem children, it has this drama. It's like its own soap opera. And your employer, they will stress you out, and they don't care about it. So if you don't have work life balance yourself, because they're not going to do it for you, you will work yourself into an early grave. I've seen people and coworkers have heart attacks and emergency surgery because they have ulcers, and people, popping pills. And I'm going, and when was the last time you've taken a day off? I can't take off. I can't take off because if I take off, all this work is going to be here and it's going to pile up. I was like, you do know that the work is not going anywhere. And if
Right.
something happens to you, God forbid you drop dead, they're going to scoot your body against the wall, wait for somebody to come get it, and put another warm body in your chair.
I,
You are a social security number to them.
right. You're speaking a lot of things I think a lot of people don't maybe they're starting to realize, because this whole pause break with the pandemic. So this is where I like to and remind everybody, if you're picking up what Kimberly is dropping, those juicy gems, please give us a thumbs up. Let us know that you're enjoying it. Maybe follow up with a comment below. And we're going to dive into how did she really get to this journey of learning to love yourself. So we're going to dive down into how did this really come about for you?
There's a scripture in the Bible, love your neighbor as yourself. And that implies you have to love yourself before you love your neighbor. And I'm going, so how do I love myself so I can love somebody else better? And that implies how you treat yourself is how you treat other people. And there are so many people out there who mistreat people intentionally or unintentionally. Sometimes out of ignorance, sometimes out of spite. And so I had to learn, what really truly makes me happy, what brings me joy. And one of the key things that I had to learn was I'm one of the people that folks always say, "Oh, you're such a good listener," and Kim is so discreet, and they always want to come to me for advice. The first few decades of my life, I cherished that. I'm like, "Oh, I'm the advice queen. This is great." And then I hit my 40s, and I said, "I am so tired of hearing about people's stuff." And it literally, I was more worried about people's stuff than they were. And it literally made me sick to the point I ended up in urgent care. And when I got back home, I made a list. I did a brain dump and wrote down everything that was on my mind, whether it was work related, family related, relationships, friendships, anything. I need to take out the trash. Yeah, I need to go to the grocery, everything. And then I made two lists. One side of the list, things that I have direct control over. The other side of the list, things I have no direct control over. What was my stuff versus what was somebody else's stuff? 85% of the list was everybody else's junk. I said, well, wait a minute. I only have 15. I'm giving 85% of my brain and my emotions to other people. And they didn't have a sense of urgency for most of the stuff on the list themselves. And I said, starting today, everybody has to put their big girl or big boy panties on and be grown up, because I'm not trying to wear my drawers in your drawers too. Not going to happen. So I came up with this thing of, when you see certain people coming, You hear a dump truck coming. It's like you hear a truck. You know when a truck is coming down the street because it sounds different. And I'll hear a truck coming, and then all of a sudden I'll look out the living room window and you hear beep, 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 beep. And I'm going, who's backing their truck up on my front lawn? There are some people who will come with their dump truck, back their truck up on your front lawn and dump all their mess on you and then drive away and do nothing about their mess. And then it's your mess. And it's like, no, 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 no. So when I start hearing trucks outside my window and I hear those backing up beeping noise, I'm like, no, 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 you need to go. No, no, make a U-turn. Go on, go on. Let don't live here. You need to go on somewhere. Take that mess somewhere else. I'm not doing it. And
Right.
it doesn't mean you don't help people, but you have to be very choosy about who you help, how you help them, and be comfortable with saying no. And we as women, we have a guilt complex about saying no. We have to get over that because people don't have a guilt complex about dumping on you. We need to stop having a guilt complex about saying no. And one of my really close friends, I was venting to her one day and she said, why are you explaining yourself to people? You're a grown woman. No is a complete sentence. Stop explaining yourself, trying to make peace with people. Just say no. And I said, oh, okay. Okay. You know what? That's right. So now I've gotten better, much better at saying, no, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not available. I wouldn't mind helping you, but I'm not available. I can't accommodate you right now. And this older sister at church, she's like an adopted mommy. She said, what you do is you smile when you say it. I would so love to accommodate you right now, but I'm sorry, I'm unavailable.
Yeah. You like I said, I love what you share about, setting boundaries and stuff like that. And it's amazing how fast, I always say this, it's amazing how fast 20 minutes can fly by. We're down to the 4 minutes. So I just want to, I want to emphasize or make sure I get the key message. If there's nothing that anybody else takes away from this interview today, what's the one thing you want to leave them with today?
Protect your mind, protect your body, protect your spirit. Your mind and your emotions with boundaries. Watch your gas tank. If somebody comes to you and you know they're a full tank person and you're near the end of your week and you only got a quarter of a tank to get yourself through the week emotionally, tell them no. Because otherwise they're gonna take your quarter of a tank and then guess what? They're gonna go find somebody else with some gas and then you stuck on the side of the road and you're just done. Make a plan to see how you're gonna de-stress. Protect your body, work life balance, plan your off days. Rest is crucial for repairing your body. Use the right fuel, eat the right things, get some exercise, get some sleep, get rest and sleep. Rest just because you slept doesn't mean you rested. You have to rest your brain and then protect your spirit. Meditation is fabulous. Devotional and Bible reading, if you're a spiritual person. Prayer, pour your heart out to God. The Bible says cast your burdens and cast your cares on him. Casting doesn't mean, okay, I'm gonna put it in a little cute bag and I'm gonna place it here. Cast means I'm hurling it at you. God's like, I got a big catcher's mitt. Throw it at me. I got it. He never drops. He never goes whoopsies. Worship service, fellowship with people who of like-minded people, building those relationships. You have to feed all aspects of yourself, your mind, your body, and your spirit, and set your boundaries with people because you have to treat people how to treat you, and you teach them by how you treat yourself. If you say no and somebody keeps pushing, one thing that's helped me is, so what I'm hearing is you're not respecting my no. And then people go, it's like, no, you're not respecting my no. I need you to respect my no. Thank you for respecting my no. And when you do it like that, they're like, oh, dang. Yes, you're disrespecting. You asked me a question. I gave you an answer. You're not happy with it. I can't help that. You have to cope with that, but I need you to respect my no.
I love it. I love it. Thank you. And this is the part I always want to, for those who want to connect with you, where can people find more information about you, your services, and what you do?
Well, I am a new business owner of Fructify Consulting. Right now, the best email to reach me is Logan_KD@MSN.com, or you can reach me at Fructify, Fructify Consulting LLC@yahoo.com for any business consulting services. And Fructify means to bear fruit, to cause growth. And so what I do is I work with business owners to try to help them pull the weeds, those mental weeds that hinder their business productivity and personal productivity, so their business can grow. I'm in the process of setting up a Facebook page and a website, so that should be up shortly. But if you actually want more information, Fructify Consulting LLC@yahoo.com, or if you just want to reach out to me personally, Logan_KD@MSN.com.
Thank you, Miss Kimberly. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And you know, this is my unofficial question. Would you, you know, maybe consider coming back and diving more into a conversation and talk about more
Oh,
about
yes,
boundaries and how we do
yes.
it?
Yes, because I'm always willing to share what I learned because I'm still a student of myself as well. So as I learn, I'm more than willing to share. And I always love talking to you anyway. Because I always say Tanya is the person that even on Zoom, her personality says, "Let me hug you. I'm going to hug you." And so I appreciate you so much, and I appreciate your virtual hugs and the words and nuggets that I get from you as well. Because you know how people always say there's an app for that. When you're talking to Tanya, she says there's a book for that. She's like
Well,
a walking library.
well, thank you, Miss Kimberly. Like I said, it's a pleasure to always talk to you. I always enjoy our
Yes,
conversations. You always
yes.
leave me with something to think about. So again, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And I want to also say thank you to those who tuned in. Please remember, feedback is always welcome. Links that Kimberly mentioned will be posted down in the description box, so please check out those gems down below. If you enjoyed everything today that she shared in today's show and you picked up some of the juicy nuggets, please, again, hit that like button. And remember, please feel free to leave us a comment. Tell us how we're doing. Again, if you enjoyed Miss Kimberly's interview, what she shared with us, and you want to continue to get other great insights from other great guests that we have on, please consider hitting that subscribe button over there. And remember, take things in stride, go with the flow, and create your own path. And again, thank you for watching, and we'll see you back here on another episode of Coffee with Tea. All right, bye bye.
Bye.